One of the most common questions on my channel is actually how do you get started as a developer, like the programming journey from start to finish. And I kind of sometimes hesitate to answer that directly in the comments because I have a bit of a longer story to tell and it's not really the right format. But right now I have the opportunity to share that longer story. So I think I'm going to break it down into 5 tips. So tip number 1 is to sort of dive head first. I see a lot of people hesitate to start coding even after they've watched like 20 tutorials. Yeah, you can learn the basics from a tutorial, but you only really build your understanding once you start coding and like facing the same issues and problems and the little things that people don't really talk about, but you still have to solve them in order to have anything done. And for me, it's always been the case that I've learned the most when I've tried to solve things on my own, even if there is an existing solution out there. So that would be tip number 1. Try to make anything, no matter how small, no matter how simple it is. That can be like a simple web page, or if you're not interested in web development, that could be like a simple game on the command line, like, oh, guess the number, or whatever. But it's just going to help you build that not only just your understanding, but also the confidence in yourself that you can do it. Because that's a very important thing. A lot of people, even though they've been through university, they lack the confidence to actually go ahead and build things. The other thing that I would suggest is that you actually document what you're working on. Because if your goal is to like break into tech, like a lot of people use that phrase, assuming you want to get a job, you want to be documenting your journey and your learnings somewhere that you can use that material later if you're on an interview to show like, look, these are the things I worked on, these are the problems that I solved, and this is how I solved them. And even though they might not be perfect, it's better that you document, because later, once you have a better understanding, maybe you look at them from another perspective a year down the road, you know the things that you could have done better, then you're going to be like, in the interview, you can say, well, I know this project is not perfect now, and if I had more time or resource to work on that, this is what I would do differently. So even though if it's not perfect, it's better to have it documented because it's a talking point. And also, in the interview, you get a lot of bonus points for trying to solve problems on your own, even if it's the wrong solution. Then the third sort of like tip is that you try to specialize. Like try to learn one area well. And that goes not only for areas, but also for projects. A lot of people think that you need to have 10 projects, 20 projects before you can show up for an interview. But that's not true. All you're aiming for is like one well-documented, one well-implemented project that you can actually talk about at length. And you can go into the details and you can talk about the bigger picture and all the decisions you've made so that people interviewing you get the impression that you actually have a deep understanding of that problem space. Nobody really expects you to have like a deep understanding about many things. A lot of professionals, they super specialize. And so pick a technology, learn it well, and work on one project until you're really proud of it. Don't try to like spread yourself too thin. So that's tip number 3, right? So tip number 4 would be to get involved with the community. It's very important to sort of keep yourself accountable so that even if you're feeling maybe demotivated because you can't solve something or you're stuck finding a solution for a long time, you can ask the community or participate or just get into those conversations, because some people will have solved it previously, or they will give you guidance, and maybe you can give other people guidance and just keep yourself accountable to them by showing your daily progress or weekly progress and stuff like that. And that's really, really helpful. And this is one of the reasons I started like the Discord server. A lot of people like kept asking me to start that, and I was kind of afraid, to be honest, to delve into that because I didn't know how to manage Discord well. Especially I didn't know how to like moderate that and like keep everybody safe in the community. But over time you learn from people who have more experience like exactly doing that, like managing communities and like keeping everybody on the same page about the rules and like everything else. And then you just work through it. And one of the things that we do in our Discord is just like we come up with these like silly projects, or people ask these silly coding questions. And because there is such a big spectrum of like experience, always there is somebody who has more experience than you in what you're asking about. So they will, they will give you feedback, they will give you direction or useful links. And I think that's my favorite part about the community. So the last tip would be to persevere. Like a lot of people get discouraged. I see there was one guy in particular in our Discord community who was like, I sent all these like CVs to people and they just rejected me. And I was like, okay, how many CVs did you send? And he was like, 5. Well, you know, it's a numbers game. It just could have been the wrong time for that company to hire that particular role. Or maybe there was a bigger pool of candidates available at that time. But in reality, like even for the jobs that I had early on, I had to apply 1,000 times to get one freelancing position. And even then, I didn't feel discouraged because I saw other people getting jobs. So as long as you're seeing other people that are somewhat like you doing the things that you want to be doing, that means you're in the right market. And it's just a timing thing, or it's just a numbers game. And that also goes back to my YouTube channel. Like maybe even back when I wasn't successful doing that, I saw other people that are like me doing it. I was like, okay, you know, it's not completely discouraging. And, you know, it's just persevering. So keep on sending those like CVs and just keep on working on your project, making it better. And every time you speak about it, you will notice for yourself that you are speaking about it in a more knowledgeable way. So when you do that interview to the 20th time, you're not going to even wait for them to ask you the sub-question of a sub-question. You're going to anticipate all the questions. You'll be like, and I know what you're thinking about the architecture, and I know that this is not optimal, but I would use Kafka here. Like, whatever. You will gain so much confidence from you talking about the same things over and over again that one day you will just walk out of the interview and be like, I just got it. Like, you know, that they were just like so impressed. I could see that. And when you get there, you know, it's maybe not that interview that's going to give you the job, but the next one will. And that's kind of the perseverance game. So those are my 5 tips.